Welcome back to Men of the Spirit. Today we're taking out the kayak, we're catching some fat tacos, shooting some moo, shooting some kumu, and of course breaking out the 3-prong to get some kole. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and read your Bibles. Shoots!
I think it'll be even better, to be honest.
So we got a couple dives here combined in this video and just some super clear water. Unfortunately, our kayak had a crack in it. So as we're checking out the water, you'll see right here, we flip it. Oh man, so what happened was the water got into this crack. It was sealed, but it wasn't sealed well enough. The water gets into the kayak, it starts to sink, and even when we're getting back on it, it ends up just being too hard to kayak with. It just lost its buoyancy and made it really easy to flip over. So we brought it out to the reef out here. We paddled out for about 15 minutes, and we ended up just getting some grounds and swimming around. And here I'm shooting some kole. We get some nice zones and gonna have a blast on this dive. I'm using my new cowabunga right here, and so far this is my favorite 3-prong. My second favorite is the graphite. I still haven't used Kai spears or ski prong, but I like graphite more than evolve. I'm not sure what it is. I think the evolve is just a little bit too heavy for me. So I really like the graphite, and that's one I have, but this cowabunga is just my first time using this one. And because it's halfway aluminum, it's really light, but it still maintains the speed that the graphite has. So it's kind of like a hybrid. It's aluminum and graphite, and it works really well. And I think for me, I'm usually just get reef fish, so I like the speed more so than the sturdiness. I know people that are 3-pronging Aluas and Omilus, they probably want those evolves because they're really strong carbon fiber. But for me, getting Minpachis and Kole is usually what I use my 3-prong for. This works out perfectly. So I'm gonna just get a couple more kole, and then we're gonna break out the gun, start going for some nice reef fish. Here is down at the bottom, and I wish I would have concentrated more on him. Whenever I'm the guy on top, I'm looking around, just making sure sharks aren't creeping up. But I missed his shot, but he comes up with this nice inanui. And I wish I would have just focused on him for like 5 more seconds. I'm just looking around, doing a 360, making sure nothing's coming in towards us. But my camera angle's a little bit up. I fix it on my next dive. But as you can see, he got this nice inanui right here. I take a drop, and I'm trying to call in this moo. So when I hunt for moo, I usually keep my eyes down, scratch the reef, and you can see it. You can barely see it right there, but I lunge to take a shot, and I try to aim a little ahead of it, and I just miss it. I think if I I try and look back at my footage to see what could I have done better. I think if I would have aimed a little bit less far ahead of it, I probably would have been able to secure that fish. But there they are. They're still coming around. You see, I didn't spook them too much. So here's one right here. I'm going to lunge. And that was just totally on me. Just a bad shot. Totally missed it. And every time I miss, I'm like, okay, what I got to do more? Do I got to be more patient? Or I got to aim a little different? Or maybe I got to straighten out my arm? Or maybe I just got to wait a little longer for it to come in a little closer. But there's always something, for the most part, there's always something that you can do to give yourself a better shot at securing the fish. So even though I've been diving for years, I still get impatient. I still have too quick of a trigger finger, and it just happens. There's a little Milu swimming in front of me, and I figure, it's a little bit small. I'll let that one go and grow. But I'm still hoping to get some of these moo to come in right here. So far, pretty good day. We got some Kole, Tako, a couple uhus, and a nui lobster, and yeah, pretty solid dive so far. So that sound means that I left the snorkel in my mouth. I usually take the snorkel out of my mouth, but the air's going to the top. That's the sound. And here, we're pushing the kayak back, so we got the one man, Jake's paddling right here, and Isaiah and I are on the green one. We're trying to push this one and pull the green kayak so that way it's filled with water, so it's kind of, can't really row it back. It'll sink, so we got to pull the kayak in all the way from where we kayaked out to. This a couple days later, you can see the water's still really clear. A little bit murky, but as we go farther out, it starts to clear up. And, I've dove a lot of different places. So even though this is a little murky, it's still super, super clear compared to a lot of parts of the world. As I dive down, you see that Tako saw me and decided to go hide under cover. But I was able to grab him out and get him. This is a pretty nice sized Tako, about 3 pounds, I'd say. And gonna make some really, really good taco pasta. So I saw a couple of really nice sized Kumus on this dive, and this one wasn't the biggest one that I saw. That one was pretty smart, got away quick, but this Kumu comes right in. I'm just scratching the reef, grunting, comes right in. I don't want to shoot it with the rock behind it, so I try and wait till it gets out of the way of the rock, and I hit a nice shot, I thought, but it ripped off because my shaft got stuck in the reef, and therefore I go and grab my 3-prong. It's right under this rock, kind of hard to tell because of the darkness. My shooting line gets caught on me, but I still got a lot of breath left, so I'm going in to take another shot on it, and I hit it, but you can see it moves, gets out, and since I'm getting stuck, I just figured I'm gonna come up, just breathe up, go down for another shot. He swims over to the other reef, and I get a nice shot on him and come up. You could see right where I hit him was almost a stone shot, but it ripped right out through the top of its head. This clip is kind of hard to see, so I slowed it down. There's a ponanu right there under the rock. I literally grab it with my hand. It's just sleeping. And here I have it in my hand, and then it wakes up and it swims out and just gets away. So it wasn't that big, but it was just kind of funny. they're sleeping right under rocks sometimes. You could go up and 3-prong them, but that one wasn't that big, so I just snagged him and woke him up and probably had a nightmare from that happening. But let him go, and now we're going on to dive some more. This is my brother right here, my brother John, getting his first taco, and you know, he's making the mistake here of having his 3-prong loaded. But we talked to him after, and he's learning a lot. He's been diving for a long time, but in California, you don't really go for taco much. Like, you'll catch him and let him go. But here he got his first taco. He's going to come up with it. It's going to be a little too small, so he's going to let it go. But pretty cool. See my brother get his first taco and getting it on film as well. Here's the master at work, Jake, going down for some taco. Always seeing him everywhere. I'm still learning so much from him. He's become such a great friend and great dive partner. That one was too small, so just let it go. Could have looked for it more under the reef, but since it was too small, no point to it. Here I see a moo pile from the top. So what I do is I look for the reef. I'm going to try and find my hiding spot, try and conceal as much of my body as I possibly can. And then hopefully I'll be somewhere near the sand as well. I'll go down and I'll dust some sand in the air like what I'm doing right here. And then I'll try and conceal my body. And when I start to see the moo coming in, I'll go ahead and look down. I'll look down and dust and just either pray or sing a song in my head or just think about something. And as I'm holding my breath, when I take my mind off of the fish I'm hunting, I'm able to hold my breath a little longer. And so here you see the whole moo pile. There's a few of them. And when you look down and then you look back up, they just come a little bit closer. Now I'm going to grab the reef, lunge, take my shot, and I was able to learn from my mistake last time and be able to secure this moo, which is a really nice eating fish, as you know. I wasn't able to record it, but Jake got this nice kala, and I just got the clip of him pulling it up, but really nice fish, really great eating right here as well. Another moo opportunity right here. So as you see, I'm behind this reef. The only thing sticking out is my head and my shoulder, and scratching the reef. I'm dusting and trying to call this guy in. I have a handle so I can take a lunge, but he's not broadside and I don't take the shot. Hopefully I'll get another chance at him. So Jake sees this huge taco from the surface just flashing and getting chased by some fish. It's changing color and it's a big one stuck in the reef. So he goes ahead and shoots it just to make sure it doesn't get away. He's coming up and this thing is a monster. This is the biggest taco I've ever seen. It's not the biggest one he's ever got. He's got some fat ones, but this thing, the head is like the size of a softball. So I know they get bigger out there, but this is the biggest one I've ever seen, and I was like really, really impressed with this catch right here. Here's a little potchy hole we found. I dived down to get John some film and let him dive on it right here. And then I'm right behind him when he goes up, and I'm going to see if they're still home. And you'll see there's one right there in the bottom right corner, but swims back into his hiding hole. And I didn't see any others, so I go ahead and go back up to the surface.
Yes, sir. Come on now.
Guys, welcome back to our 1 Minute with God. Today we're looking at 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 6 through 10, and we're talking about being content. But godliness with contentment is great gain. For we brought nothing into the world, and we can take nothing out of it. But if we have food and clothing, we will be content with that. People who want to get rich fall into temptation and a trap, and into many foolish and harmful desires that plunge men into ruin and destruction. For the love of money is a root of all kind of evil. Some people eager for money have wandered from the faith and pierced themselves with many griefs. You know, I live here on Maui, and God's given me so much to be grateful for. But being here, I could find myself not content with what I have and just wanting more. So I see like so many lifted trucks every day, and I go, man, I want one of those. I see people that have these awesome, beautiful houses. I mean, there's beautiful houses right around where I live. Man, I want one of those. Even my wife and I, we've been trying to have kids for about 3 years now. I see people have children. My brother's having children. My neighbor's having children. And I go, man, I want that. And I can forget so quickly everything that God's already given me. You know, God's given me salvation. God's given me an incredible wife. God's given me my health, an incredible family. On top of all that, I get to live here in Maui. And for me to not be grateful for those things and just want more, if I always focus on what I don't have, I'll never be grateful for what I have. And what I've learned is that godliness, just being godly and being content with what God has given you, there's great gain in that. And if you learn to be godly and content in every situation, like Paul says in Philippians 4:13, if you learn to be godly and content, you're going to win life, like it says in Luke 21, verse 19. Guys, Jesus came so that we will have life to the full. John 10:10. Let's be grateful this Thanksgiving. Let's be content with what we have, and let's be godly by holding to the teachings of Jesus Christ found in the Bible. Thanks so much for tuning in, and that's our 1 Minute with God. Shoots.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Chef Kaylee in the kitchen. All right, what you got in here?
Spicy poke. Lipton, can you put more sriracha in here, please?
What ingredients you got?
And the spectator. We got sriracha, mayonnaise, sesame oil, oyster sauce, and shoyu. Oyster sauce. Oh, nice. And fish. Not dog, but fish. Sriracha?
Get the color in there.
Oh, sorry.
Chef's in the kitchen.
Hammers. It's so funny. I haven't finished the sauce yet. That's pretty well known. That's pretty well known.
We need a taste test right here.
All right.
No more taste test for you. All right, taste test this one. That's a nandui poke, made from yours truly.
No. It's good.
All right, try this one. This is the move.
So elegant.
Why you eat it like that, bro?
That was good.
Wow, it looks amazing, babe. It's beautiful. Thanks for cooking this for me.
You're welcome.